The price of progress.
Exactly.
Well, we just had a minute ago a story about those fires, the Santa Ana winds that are fueling those fires in Southern California. We've had some wind here, but nothing like that, John.
No, and there's still wind advisories and wind warnings down in Southern California, but since we did kind of sandwich that story in between, now when they let you drive those SUVs, test drives, are they going to also teach you how to use a cell phone and put on makeup at the same time?
I say yes. You never know.
Oh, maybe in Vegas.
Maybe in Vegas.
No.
Thumbing our way to Vegas. All right. Love that song. INSS.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Not awesome down in Southern California. High wind warnings all the way from Ventura County to San Diego County because of those offshore Santa Ana winds. Now, the wind advisory, you can just barely see. It's just on your screen here. You might see a little blip there, and it goes away because the wind advisory for the Lake Mead recreational area was canceled. So we're kind of all smiles here in the News 3 Weather Center, and we're taking a look back up the strip. 56 degrees. So we're already sitting pretty, and we are probably going to make our predicted afternoon high of 61, even with the increasing clouds. And you can see out at McCarran, variable breezes at just 3 miles per hour. We'll talk about what you can expect over the next several hours, whether or not you're going to need an umbrella over the next 24 hours. Pretty good chance of that, plus chance to win with the Fredericks Fact. It's all coming up. Kim, Maria.
Thank you, John.
Adding flights.
We'll check your weather headlines as they dial up a beautiful shot from our Mandalay Bay camera, plus get you all the way around the country with your travel forecast and a chance to win with the Fredericks Fact. It's all coming up here on News 3 at noon, where news comes.
So you may want to avoid that area. What you don't want to avoid is this gorgeous weather that we're having. A little bit windy, John, but totally manageable. Yeah,
absolutely, Kim and Maria, no question about it. And the breezes are calming down. The lake wind advisory was canceled by the National Weather Service. There are still high wind warnings down in Southern California, and the Santa Anas are howling. More about that. We're going to see the clouds increase, the breezes decrease, and it looks like we have a reasonably good shot at some of the wet stuff. Yes. But lake wind part, gone, canceled. All right, good news there. Santa Ana's, they're still hanging around with those strong, gusty offshore winds fueling those fires down there. Some increasing clouds might help a little bit, but there's a little storm system that's sitting off the California coast. Unfortunately, I think it's going to bypass most of the Southland, but it's looking more and more likely that we're going to get some scattered showers late tonight, more likely through the early part of tomorrow morning and then on and off throughout the day. Some of our eastern zones could get a fairly decent amount of measurable rainfall. Any snow in the local mountains will be very high. There's a very warm system by nature. More on it when we get to our local forecast next half hour. 59 was the official high yesterday. 37 the morning low. Pretty close to average. Average is good this time of year. Speaking of good, gifts from our friends over the Tropicana for this hour's edition of the Fredericks Fact. 55 over the hump and prump at Cody's Place. 60 at the Community Church in Sandy Valley. 41 Caliente. 37. I got to update that one. Missed that number there. But you can see the high clouds, and they're streaming up south to north. This is all real-time information here. Let's quickly talk about wind speeds. Well, we still have a little bit around the edges, so yeah, it's still breezy. Now the winds have begun to shift over to the east side, and you can see some pretty breezy conditions over in the southeastern section of the valley. We see a real mess up around the Great Lakes. Look at Miami, though. 79 degrees, beautiful. 66 for the Big D, 39 in the Windy Cities, 37 in the Motor City, 71 by the time you get to Phoenix, and those Santa Ana fueled winds are kicking up the temperatures, 75 currently in Los Angeles. Big area high pressure out west, big storm system over the Great Lakes, and there's our little guy. Doesn't look like much, but this thing, yeah, little tiny little low pressure system. Actually, it's starting to look more impressive. The other thing is we're seeing a great deal. You can see this big counterclockwise swirl and all the moisture coming off the lakes, the old lake effects, and of course the pink, that sleet mix, a mess to drive in, and then the green stuff is just plain old rain. So if you got family and friends in the Midwest, the Great Lakes area, they're more than likely seeing a winter wonderland right now. Not much going on south of the Mason-Dixon, but the winds down in Southern California. Just ahead of this hour's edition of the Fredericks Fact, going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you, by the way, today. So we'll call it breezy, but the breezes are beginning to relax somewhat. Don't do it when you want to go to it. Thank you, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Scattered showers, if not by late tonight, on and off throughout the day tomorrow, and then clearing rapidly, but temperatures remain a bit on the cool side through Saturday. Okay, oh man, four gift certificates from the Tropicana, including dinner at Calypso's, tickets to see the Titanic Artifacts exhibition, tickets to go see our good friend Dirk Arthur, the Extreme Magic, and the Folies Bergère. And all you have to do is tell me, what's the first thing you know? What's the first thing you know? 657-3425. Put on the thinking caps. Dial quickly. We'll have your answer coming up in the next half hour.
Do you know?
Kim, Maria?
I have an idea, but I don't know. This is like Jeopardy. These things always throw me.
It's a tough one. Well, we'll see what it is coming up. Well,
And I want to talk to you today about clouds and what they may be doing for our neck of the woods, as Al Roker would say. In fact, he's going to be in our neck of the woods tomorrow morning. More on that and the answer to the Fredericks Fact. It was a trick question. I told you that. It's up next here on News 3 at noon, where news comes.
His show, it's always everything's the
the
best.
best, of course.
The
You have to do it
best.
big and better.
Yes. Just like we have the best weather here, John.
Absolute best. And that's, you got to give him credit. The man is a power of positive thinking, and it works for him. Okay. Hey, speaking of another positive guy, our good friend Al Roker from the Today Show is going to be right here in Las Vegas tomorrow morning, broadcasting his weather live from the Sirens Cove at the TI, the Treasure Island. And, well, weather holding, Jordo and I will be out there as well from 5 to 7 a.m. And the public is invited. Swing on by and say hi. All right, we're going to see the clouds on the increase, though. And if you're going to be heading out there right now, it looks like you might need an umbrella, but don't let it rain on the proverbial parade. So we do have some increasing clouds out there, but our air quality is good, mostly good. And if we get any kind of rain at all, it'll be even better. 59 yesterday, 37 this morning's low, pretty close to average. Average, as I mentioned, it's good. It's the best. The best. All right. I just can't do his hair.
That's a good thing.
Keep trying.
No, thank you. All right. There you see some clouds streaming up from the south. Typically, we get clouds from the Pacific Northwest, more specifically the Gulf of Alaska. We'll talk more about this little storm system in a moment. Wind speeds continue to swirl around the edges, but they've dropped substantially where they were the most prevalent this morning. Centennial at our North Las Vegas Wells Fargo WeatherNet site. There's that big storm system, but let's take there it is. Wind and blowing snow. Delay being reported in the Windy City. No delays were reported in Los Angeles, but very windy down there. Travel trouble mainly over the Great Lakes. Let's talk a little bit more about that wind in Southern California and that storm system as well. 39 Flagstaff, 71 Phoenix, 75 warm degrees with the offshore Santa Ana's blowing in Southern California, 60 in Barstow, 34 in Ely, Nevada. Jet stream way up to the north, high pressure, offshore winds for Santa Ana's, and what we have is a closed or cut off little area low pressure system cut off from the jet stream. It's like a derailed train. It just sits there and it decides, well, am I going to move or won't I? Maybe, maybe not. So this thing is just going to gently meander off to the east over the next several days, and it looks like it is going to gradually make its way over the next 24 hours right on top of us. Of course, Dana will have the latest during First News 3 at 4. So we may be doing the old Smokey Robinson, a couple of tiers of the cloud here with increasing clouds, a chance of showers late, mainly by tomorrow morning through tomorrow afternoon. Some of our eastern zones could see a decent amount of measurable precip, but again, these storm systems, these cut-off lows, have a tendency to have a mind of their own. There you go. So, yes, definitely chance of showers, and it's actually looking a little better than it did even earlier this morning. Breezy on the bookends there. And other than that, yep, as Kim would say, it's the best. Hey, congratulations. I love this name, Glade Frainer. Glade Frainer knew. Yeah. I didn't fool him the first time I ran this question about 3 years ago. I didn't fool him again. If I said the first thing you know, you'd say, old Jed's a millionaire. All right, there you go.
That
I'm sorry. Yeah, send your emails and phone calls to jfredericks@kvbc.com, 657-3422. Ooh, I just gave out my actual voicemail number. Hey, Glade.
Strike that, disregard.
That was a joke. We'll edit that out. No, never mind. Folies Bergère, tickets to see Dirk Arthur, the Magic, Wonderful Magic, the Titanic Artifacts Exposition, and if that's not enough, dinner for two over at Calypso's. Our Fredericks Fact prizes are the best.
They're the best in town.
I have to work on it. The best.
Very
The
good.
best.
All right.
Yeah. And the best is better than you're fired. So it's better when he's bragging.
Yes, and there's always that chance.
Yes. Okay, we can definitely.